You are not lazy, you're not undisciplined, you're not bad at habits. In fact, you might even be one of the most capable people in your circle. You handle things, you solve problems, you keep promises, you show up for others, you manage responsibilities. And from the outside, it looks like you have it all together. But when it comes to your body, food feels chaotic, energy feels unpredictable, habits don't stick. You start over more than you would like to admit. And that gap between who you are in every other area of your life and who you are with your health feels confusing, maybe even frustrating. So today we're going to unpack why this happens, not from a try harder angle, but from a nervous system, hormone, and mindset angle. Because the truth is, the same mindset that makes you successful can actually destabilize your body. And once you see it clearly, everything changes. If you're new here, hi, I'm Sarah. I'm a certified holistic health coach currently studying for a master's in nutrition and integrative health, and I work with high-achieving women who feel stuck in emotional eating, energy crashes, and the start-over cycle, even though they're extremely capable in any other area of their life. And on this channel, we talk about the deeper layers behind food, hormones, mindset, and self-trust. And in this video specifically, we're going to walk you through 5 mindset blocks that quietly sabotage many women and the reframes that change everything. This isn't about lowering your ambition, it's about upgrading how you relate to your body. So with all that being said, let's get into it. Mindset block number 1, stress tolerance as identity. You're good at handling pressure. Deadlines are fine, conflict, manageable, busy season you will survive, sleep deprivation you will push through, and somewhere along the way, being able to handle a lot of things became part of your identity. But here's what most high-achieving women don't realize. Your body doesn't reward stress tolerance, it adapts to it. Think about a typical Tuesday. You wake up already slightly behind because you stayed up too long finishing something up. You skipped breakfast because you're not that hungry, but really you're just rushed. You grab a coffee and your first meal happens around 12:30 p.m., quickly, maybe at your desk. By 3 p.m. you feel slightly shaky, you want something sweet. You push through, you tell yourself you will have dinner that will be clean. By 9 p.m., after holding everything together all day, something shifts. Suddenly you're in the pantry, not because you're weak, but because your body has been running on stress hormones for 12 hours. So when you consistently skip meals, eat quickly, work through lunch, drink coffee instead of resting, push through workouts when you're exhausted, stay wired at night, your nervous system shifts into chronic activation. Cortisol rises, blood sugar destabilizes, progesterone drops under prolonged stress, which can worsen PMS cravings, digestion slows down, cravings increase in general, and then at night, when you finally slow down, your body compensates. And that compensation often looks like nighttime eating, sugar urgency, feeling like you lose control. But actually, you didn't lose control. Your system just rebounded. So your nighttime eating isn't random, it's biochemical compensation. The woman who says, I'm so good all day and then lose control at night is often just in a stress and rebound loop. So reframe number 1. If you need willpower at night, something earlier in the day was unsupported. Strength is not how much stress you can override. Strength is how early you respond to stress signals. High performers tend to respond late, when they're already depleted. So start responding early. Eat before you're starving. Pause before you're overwhelmed. Rest before you collapse, because this one shift stabilizes hormones more than tightening your diet ever will. Block number 2, performance-based self-worth. You likely learned that your value is tied to your output, being competent, reliable, high-performing. So when it comes to health, what do? You turn it into a project. You build a plan, you optimize, you schedule, you execute. And for a few weeks, it works. Until stress hits or your cycle shifts or emotions surface, then the plan collapses, not because you lack discipline, but because your body doesn't operate on performance metrics. It operates on safety. When health becomes another area to perform in, your nervous system reads that as pressure, and pressure increases cortisol, and cortisol destabilizes hunger, destabilized hunger increases cravings, cravings increase guilt, guilt increases control, and the cycle repeats again. So the tighter you grip, the louder the rebound. The body does not interpret strictness as commitment. It interprets it as pressure. Pressure leads to activation, and activation leads to instability. And this is why many high-achieving women experience doing everything right, yet feeling bloated, waking up tired, craving sugar intensely, feeling like hormones are off. They're trying to outperform biology. So reframe number 2, shift from performance metrics to regulation metrics. Instead of asking, did I execute perfectly today? Ask, did my body feel supported today? That question changes behavior because support stabilizes hormones, whereas performance pressure destabilizes them. This reframe expands to, what if your health improved when you removed performance energy from it? What if your body responds better to calm consistency than heroic effort? Really let those questions sink in. Then block number 3, all or nothing thinking. High achievers most often think in clean lines, on track, off track, good or bad, success or failure. Binary thinking works in strategy, but biology is not binary. Your menstrual cycle changes appetite, stress shifts cravings, sleep affects hunger hormones, emotions alter behavior. So when you apply rigid thinking to a fluctuating system, instability increases. You ate perfectly maybe for 3 days, you overate once, and your brain says, well, this week is already ruined. I might as well just give up and start again another time. But this isn't immaturity, it's cognitive efficiency. But it backfires in health. Let's anchor it into a real scenario. You eat well Monday through Wednesday. Thursday, you have dinner out, you eat more than you planned, and your brain says, well, this week isn't perfect anymore. So Friday becomes looser, Saturday becomes more indulgent, and Sunday becomes completely chaotic with binges and all of that. And then Monday becomes restrictive again. That's not lack of discipline, that's neurological patterning. Your brain prefers consistency. Binary thinking reduces cognitive load, but your endocrine system is cyclical. During the luteal phase, for example, progesterone rises, metabolism increases slightly, and the appetite naturally increases along with it. So if you expect the same hunger any time of your month, any time of your cycle, for example, in the follicular phase, you will interpret that increased appetite as failure. But it is not failure, it's physiology. So the deeper reframe here is, instead of tracking perfection, track adaptability. Instead of asking, was I flawless? Ask, how well did I adjust without panicking? That builds nervous system flexibility. Consistency is not perfection repeated. Consistency is recovery speed. How quickly you return to baseline without punishing yourself. That is emotional regulation. And emotional regulation stabilizes hormones and your nervous system in general more effectively than rigid dieting ever could. Block number 4, emotional avoidance through productivity. You're action-oriented. You solve problems, you move, you stay busy, but when the day ends and everything quiets down, emotions surface. Stress, loneliness, pressure, disappointment, exhaustion. If you haven't built a habit of emotional processing, food becomes the release valve. Nighttime eating isn't weakness, it's delayed emotional regulation. Your nervous system downshifts, and unpressed emotions seek outlet. Picture this, you hold it together all day. You're responsive, kind, efficient. You finally sit down at night. The house is quiet, your shoulders drop, you kind of relax, but then there's suddenly that subtle discomfort. Not a dramatic one, just a quiet restlessness. And that restlessness is often unprocessed activation. When your nervous system transitions from sympathetic, so doing mode, to parasympathetic, the rest mode, stored tensions surface. If you haven't created safe emotional processing earlier, food becomes the fastest regulator. Carbohydrates increase serotonin temporarily. Sugar provides fast dopamine. Eating shifts attention away from internal sensations. So this is regulation, but it's just not a sustainable regulation. Reframe number 4, you don't need more discipline, you need more processing. If nighttime eating feels emotional, it probably is. And emotional processing is a skill. It's not about journaling perfectly. Even 5 minutes or a day of naming how you feel, breathing before dinner, writing honestly, stepping outside without your phone prevents nighttime compensation. You're teaching your nervous system it can downshift without food. And that changes the pattern at the root. Food becomes quieter when emotions have another outlet. Block number 5, control as safety. Many high-achieving women don't fear chaos in work, but they deeply fear chaos in their body. Weight gain, loss of control, unpredictability. So control becomes an armor. This one runs deep. If I don't control this, I will spiral. So control feels like protection. So you tighten, you restrict, you set rigid rules. But restriction increases stress, and stress increases cravings. Cravings increase guilt. Guilt increases restriction. And once again, the cycle repeats. Control creates instability it tries to prevent. There's a concept in behavioral psychology called reactance. When something feels restricted, the desire for it increases. Your brain is wired to resist perceived loss for freedom, so strict food rules biologically amplify desire. This isn't a mindset weakness, it's human neurobiology. Now the reframe here. What if trust is built by reducing threat and not increasing control? When you eat regularly, when you allow flexibility, when you stop punishing, you send a signal: food is available, we are safe, there is no famine, and that reduces urgency, and urgency reduction stabilizes behavior. We want to focus on safety before structure, because structure built from fear destabilizes. Structure built from care regulates. So ask yourself, whenever you try to come up with some rule or whatever it is, like new restriction, is this rule coming from fear or from support? And that distinction changes everything. So what to do now? Start small. Choose one shift. Respond earlier to stress, or measure support, not performance, or track recovery, speed and not perfection. Process emotions daily. Build structure from care and not fear. You don't need to overhaul your life. You just need to regulate earlier. And remember, the reason you feel inconsistent is not because you lack capability. It's because your capability has been directed outward. You mastered execution, but no one taught you regulation. And regulation is what stabilizes hormones, appetite, energy, cravings, consistency. High-achieving women don't need less ambition. They need a different nervous system strategy. And once you shift from force to regulation, health stops feeling like the one area you just can't seem to figure out. And instead, it becomes the area you understand most deeply. So if this resonated and you're realizing your struggle isn't about discipline, but deeper patterns, I have something for you. I created a free quiz called "What Type of Emotional Eater Are You?" It helps you understand what drives your overeating, where regulation breaks down, and what your body actually needs. The link is in the description below. And if this video helped you see yourself differently, make sure to hit the like and subscribe button, maybe even the notification bell, and comment below which mindset block felt the most accurate. You don't need less ambition, you need a different relationship with your body. And that is exactly what we're building here. So lots of love, and until next time.